3, Caucus. The discussion on the caucus timelines, review the role of commissioners.
Right, so let me bring you up to speed on this. I'm putting together a final council document that hopefully I'll get agendized for April 5th council meeting that will approve the caucus process that you recommended. That'll take care of the formal council looking at the document and approving it like they did last cycle. However, having said that, I think it's important that tonight we start thinking about the actual logistics of the caucus process in the various council districts. So we're talking about council district 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. And what I'd like to, there are two things that are going on with this. Well, and actually there's a third element here. The vice mayor is putting together a council, a commission recruitment process meeting coming up here. Do you happen to remember when that is? I think it's in a couple of weeks here at City Hall. I think it's March 22nd or so. In her vision, each of the commissions that has vacancies will have a booth there. Myself and Amelia will be there. I would like to have a commissioner there also. And I'll send you the information.
March 22nd, you said.
I'm sorry?
You said March 22nd.
I don't quote me on that. I'm just, remembering it, that I think that's what it is. It's a couple of weeks from now. It'll be here at City Hall, if I remember correctly. And what it is the vice mayor would like to get a lot more people involved in boards and commissions. So I'm planning on advertising and putting together information regarding the Neighbors Commission, and also that will be the appropriate time for people to be interested and fill out applications. But for the D1 vacancy, that would be an actual recruitment effort.
Also D1s.
Yeah, but it would also be good as people come and see that there's going to be caucuses that are going to be occurring sometime in May that people can apply for. So I'll have some preliminary information, up-to-date information based on your language for advertising there. Having said that, one of the things I want to talk about briefly this evening, and for those of you that are from the different affected districts, is locations. So for District 2, if I remember correctly, we had the Senior Center the last time.
Outside Community Center.
Yes. So what I'd ask commissioners to do is to kind of check in with the Senior Center for some dates in late April, early May.
You said June before.
No, that's what we need to send the names forward.
Oh, the names forward.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So what's going to happen is this coming Monday, the clerk's office will be opening up what they call the spring recruitment. That means that they'll run that recruitment from March, whatever date it is, coming up on Monday, through I think May 5th, May 2nd, something like that. And that's when they open up applications for any and all commissions that have vacancies. So what we met, Amelia and I met with the clerk's office yesterday. They wanted to try to coordinate the schedule of the caucuses with their effort, because what they wanted to do is to get because every person that applies for a caucus has to apply for an application through the clerk's office. And that is the process, the way it works, so that once people apply, their applications are sent from the clerk's office both to us and to the city attorney's office for their research and due diligence on conflict of interest. And actually that's how it worked the last time. And in that case, after the conflict of interest was run, one of the candidates coming out of the caucus process out of District 1 actually was disqualified because it turned out they were a city employee. There is a process that's legally in place to screen people so that they don't run into that conflict of interest. But as I'm thinking of the process through, what I need from commissioners in the affected districts is suggestions on locations for the various caucuses. And so, like, getting back, District 2 had the senior center. So if you commissioners could check in and kind of maybe get an idea of what dates would be available, say, starting mid-April through, May, then it gives, I think that I'm the liable person, which means that I'd make the reservation, I'd be responsible and carry the liability with me for the actual event. But that doesn't mean that you couldn't, approach them and ask for scheduling. So that's District 2. I'm kind of refreshing people as to when it occurred the last time around, realizing that it hasn't occurred the last time around because this is the first time we're having the even caucuses then. So in District 4, which is Berryessa, I believe that we had it at the library. Linda, if you could check in to see what availability might be and what we would need to do to get that, then we can make arrangements. I can make arrangements.
Are we looking at evening or day or
find out whatever's available, because sometimes they'll tell you Saturdays are booked because we're having a yoga class or something like that. So I know we can't do it that day. We'll do it whatever day we can, realizing that really ideally, let's go Monday through Thursday. Nobody wants to do this on a Friday, and I don't blame them. And potentially Saturdays, if that's available. But those are the dates that we aim for to try to put something together. So that's District 4. District 6, I think the last caucus that you guys had was out at the
Community
the
center.
nonprofit, the training.
In the last, 7 years, they built a number of libraries in the area, and they have nice community rooms. So I recommend the Rose Garden Library has a very nice meeting room. And if that is full, then you can do the Baskin Avenue Library. And if that is full, do the Will Glenn Library. They're all in District 6. They all have community rooms, and they often are available in the evenings. And if your date is flexible, just choose a date and we'll see which library is open.
Okay.
I mean, you're talking about having a couple of dozen people,
right? Right. So, Larry, give us a thought, give me some ideas.
I recommend the Rose Garden Library.
Okay, and then that way, then I can make some contacts then. Amelia and I can start reaching out and, starting to try to book places, because location is going to be more important than anything else. I can work with getting volunteers from among you, but really getting a place.
Rose Garden is kind of center of District 6.
Yeah, someplace that is, is accessible to the public, that, the libraries work well, community centers work well too. So that's District 6. District 8.
Last time was in the Evergreen Branch Library. This time you will have the option, I believe, of the new community room and the new Village Square Library.
Oh, okay.
Which will not be booked. It's opening in early April.
Okay, so Matt, maybe if you could make a few phone calls, give me some direction, then we can look at that as potentially, you know, where that possibly could go. There's also the senior center. We've got a couple of places that I think we can go, you know, for. And then that leaves District 10. Nick?
I have a good suggestion of how we might conduct and where we might conduct that caucus, if you'd like to hear it. There's a standing meeting with the P10 Leadership Coalition, which is a group that represents, I think there are up to 50 neighborhood associations associated with it, of which about half of them are pretty active and are in attendance with at least one person from each of those organizations. So there tends to be about a couple of dozen people to 3 dozen, depending on how hot the topic is. The next one of those meetings is this month, and then 2 months later, right in line with the month of April, May will be the next, will be the following meeting. That would be a really good place to hold it, because neighborhood, the kind of folks that are we're looking to invite into the caucus process to vote will be there. And I can give you the chairperson's contact information, and it's in the Almaden Winery. Excuse me, not the Almaden Winery. It's in the Almaden Library that's been there for a while.
I like the winery better.
Yeah, that's one in my neighborhood, but it's actually even more central to P10, and that's what the standing meeting occurs in an upstairs location that's already reserved. It'll be all locked down. It's just a matter of getting it agendized with Marilyn Rogers, who is the chairperson. So this one will be easy, if that makes sense for the venue and personage.
So from all of you from the affected districts that I just have been talking to, I'd like by, not this weekend, but next weekend, by following Friday, your suggestions and or your contact information that I can start booking. Because even though we haven't gotten to council yet for them to put their stamp of approval, that'll be more pro forma than anything else. But I want to get on these calendars because we're going to get into a very busy season, and so location is going to be really key. So that's the location piece of it. The next piece of it is actually for the rest of you commissioners that are sitting around the table that are from the odd districts. And the way that I augment myself and Emilio working to staff these, because we're the liable ones on site, is that we use volunteer from among the commissioners. So that means that for those of you that are not affected, you're not running for office this time around, that we'd like you to volunteer your time to help do the registration that day, to help with the logistics, and even though there's 2 commissioners per each of the other districts, or depending upon vacancies, maybe 1 commissioner, you can do double duty if you would like. You can do, as long as you're not from the affected district. In other words, you're from an odd district, we could use your help. So, David.
You said not from an affected district. You could be from an even district, but not that even district?
No. What I mean is, I prefer the first priority to be people from the odd
districts.
Okay. The next priority would be people that are from a district that they're not living in. So you could be in an even district, but you know you're the second list, which is I don't live in this district. As long as there's no conflict that way. So, yeah.
I have a question. Is there a conflict if we decide we are not going to be running for a seat, or would we be allowed to volunteer on that?
I don't see it. If you haven't filled out paperwork and you're not running, then there's no conflict that I can see.
So we would be able to run. And Marie mentioned, I asked Marie about the prior caucuses at Southside. They've always been on Saturday.
That's
People
fine.
have found it more convenient on Saturday.
That's fine. It's whatever you guys suggest to me. So those arrangements I'll leave up to you guys. But that's how we fill in the manpower, so to speak, the people power. Once again, and also for commissioners that haven't gone through the process, were appointed and would like to see how it works, I'd recommend and urge you to come, even if you don't participate, to watch. So you get prepared for your own potential, running for office if you like the commission. So
And
anyway.
have you clarified with the city clerk about the eligibility of the even-numbered existing councilmen?
I asked about that, and my understanding is that we're gonna pull a meeting together to kind of reach a final decision on that. I just had the discussion yesterday, though, so I'll keep you posted, though.
Okay. David?
In looking at the city's website, they do have a place to fill out the online application, which is fairly simple. You probably all know where it's at and have found it, but just in case, and for those that want to send it to other applicants, if you could forward that link to all of the sitting commissioners,
Okay, let's do that.
then we can forward it to people in neighborhoods or in neighborhood associations so that there's no mystery.
Great, David, great suggestion, we'll do that then.
And make sure it works too. I had to fill it out 4 times before.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you can count on me to volunteer. I really want to learn the process, so, because I'm in an odd number, but, actually, I've come help her. But I would appreciate more training on the commission, and I think I have brought this up in the past.
Okay, we need to move quickly, Gary.
Ernest, Pete mentioned that the site for the caucus did not have updated information on there, and
The website.
the website, we still had the.
Yeah, Amelia and I will work on updating that then, because there's been a little bit of confusion as to who updates what. And so we'll put in the new language on the webpage.
Where is the caucus process document that we developed? Where is that?
That's actually what's going to council.
So once the
That's the memo that I'm forwarding to council.
on April 5th.
Right.
So after April 5th, then you can update the website with the current information.
Right,
Okay.
yeah, it's
We need
the
to
language
move
that you guys
On the
adopt.
agenda, because, okay, now Robert, and then.
Yes, I have a question for Ernest. My question is this, Ernest, are any commissioners going to be termed out this year after 8 years of service?
I'll give you an update on that as soon as we clarify the extension of certain commissioners, so.
Okay,
I'll give you an update next month then. We should have it formalized and finalized, in fairness to people that are applying or not applying within the next 30 days. So we'll give you an answer.
Did you want to say what the problem is, or what the question is? Because I don't think anybody knows that. I didn't know it until I heard
Okay,
it from you.
the item is that on the roster of council members, of commissioners, it says that a number of us on the even numbered are not allowed to run again. However, when we did a pilot program, we were told that the pilot program didn't count, and the charter says that the actual ordinance measure says that the first term starts as of our first election coming up. So technically, we could run for another 8 years if we wanted to. But on the other
We've only
hand,
been on
I want to have
pilot
the rules
programs for 8
established,
years.
Okay,
so the question is, we need to get that clarified with the city clerk. That's what that comment was about. Public, yes. Ed, you wanted to talk. But make it quick, because we have another item on the agenda too.
Yes, okay. I'm chair of the District 6 Neighborhood Leaders. We're going to be sponsoring 3 candidate forums. We're still trying to set dates. And
For council member.
It's on?
Yeah, I say for council forum.
Yeah, council forums. And one of the issues we've got is we're already starting to have problems with dates because of trying to schedule. When is the earliest you can have a candidate of the caucus, and what is the latest?
I'm sorry, you're talking about a candidate for the commission then?
Yes. What's the earliest the candidate, when's the earliest we can hold in District 6 a caucus for the commissioners, and what is the latest we can do it? Because we got whole series of other conflicting dates going on?
Once council approves the process, say after April 5th, it's as quickly as you can put a caucus together. However, having said that, I would like to do at least 30 days in advance notice of publicity for people to apply for this process. So let's say that we start advertising it, I don't know, let's say March 15th. So after April 15th then.
Okay, and what's the latest?
If we want to get names to the council for ratification, probably May 5th.
What?
What? Okay.
Wait, this thing doesn't even go to council before.
I'm sorry, June 5th.
It doesn't even go to council before April 5th, so we can't do anything until.
So,
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the caucuses, probably shouldn't run any later than the end of May in order to turn names around to have the council vote on them sometime in their process before they close down for business at the end of June. So that's all I'm saying, but right now, we haven't, I mean, you're talking about theoretically putting a caucus together fairly quickly, and in fairness, you know, the ideal situation would be advertised anywhere from 2 to 3 or 4 weeks to let people know that they have an opportunity to apply for this process. So I'm saying the end of May then.
okay, all right, so essentially April 15th to the end of May, right? Roughly?
I'm just guessing at this point until we actually get dates in play.
Roughly, okay. That's in the middle of a very active, almost 10 candidate forum, or I'm sorry, elections process.
Yeah.
And almost all of the candidate forums, except for a couple of them, are going to be in that same time frame. And a lot of the people are involved in the election itself, the neighbor leaders and everything else, because they're working for the candidate. It makes it really difficult, because you're going to have a hard time getting turnout, I suspect.
I understand that, and this is an issue that's come up before, so, yeah.
Thank you. Okay, we need to get on the next item of the agenda, because we also want to leave time for item F. Remember, item D